Welcome to Killian's 3 Cents. This is the first episode of a long playlist and series that I'm going to do that's called Men Don't Listen, Women Don't Lie. We're going to go through dating, the differences between men and women, and figure it out. Cheesy intro, I know, but you know, I'm an amateur at this. But we're going to watch this clip on the Whatever podcast, little dating podcast. And this question gets brought up a lot, like, should men pay on the first date? And we're going to listen to some of these answers, and I'm going to give you my response, which will probably be nothing that these people are thinking or will say. And quite honestly, like, I feel like a lot of the dating shows are just not great. They don't really understand women that well. But yeah, let's just play this and kind of hear what they say, and I'll give you my thoughts. And correct them where they're wrong, or praise them where they're right.
Assuming yes, I'm assuming for you yes.
Absolutely.
So, okay, why should the guy pay?
He asked
Hold
me.
on.
Sorry.
Let's start over here really quick.
Getting her first response. She's thinking. Let her cook. Let her
Just
cook.
a layup every time. Okay.
Just let her cook.
Okay,
She's cooking. She burnt the food.
He asked me on the date.
He asked her on the date. This is actually true. He is interested in the woman. Therefore, He asked her on the date. Okay, that is actually a correct answer. Why? We'll go into that later. But let's just go. That is the correct answer. He asked.
I'm asking a guy on a date. I'm probably gonna pay for his meal, but I'm never asked.
That's also correct. She said, I asked the guy on a date, I will pay for a meal. This is absolutely correct. This is why you pay for the first date or any other dates, or why a woman would ever be responsible for paying for the date. And I'll go into this more detail in a bit, but let's just hear all the other answers.
Asking a guy on a date.
That's convenient.
It is.
So, okay, well.
Well,
right?
when second dates and third dates come along,
I'm talking about
same as-
first dates. I'm talking about first dates.
date, I'm going to go ahead and...
First date, well, generally the woman's going to play to her cards to her chest, and most guys are going to have to initiate the first date. But what they're trying to say here about the second date and the third date is that, you know, if the guy gets to the third, fourth date, clearly the woman's interest level is increasing with them. And then she's more likely to recuperate by, hey, let me take you out and let you pay. You know, so we're dealing with the interest level here with the woman involved. And generally, on the first date, the woman's interest level will always be the lowest. If you do everything correct, it should go up. And she was trying to explain that, but Brian didn't. He doesn't understand that.
make the assumption that he asked me out. Hey, Lindsay, I'm into you. Let me take you out to dinner. Or, you know, I actually have a weird thing about eating in front of people. I do not like to do that. It's like my nightmare first date. So, like, if...
Keep it casual. Keep it casual. Do something more fun.
If
she's telling you, first date, keep it more casual, something fun. Don't involve it around eating. You know, let the woman know you will or will not get food, you know, depending on where you're going to take the fine lady out on the first date. Let's continue.
Even more than that, if a guy's like, hey, let's do something, he better have a plan of what we're doing. You know, if we're going...
You should always have a plan. Always. In a discussion. Doesn't matter, first date, second date, 5th year marriage.
Spending the day together and doing something, he better have that planned. It's not like, hey, Lynn, like, what do you want to do?
Okay.
So it's even more than paying for it. There should be some more thought, some more effort. The initial, you know, maybe first, second date, if you continue to ask me out, because as a lady, I think that I should wait to be, you know, asked. I'm not going to say, well, when are you taking me out next?
That's true. That's true. She should wait. She should wait. It's a game. It's a game. And you wouldn't want a girl go up to you, when are you going to take me out next time? Unless she's saying it more playfully fun, like, hey, I'm really into you. Let's do this again. Not in like, what's my next meal?
I think that, you know, once you're in a committed relationship, I'd be happy to put down my card. I'd be happy to leave the...
Yeah, exactly. I said earlier, if the woman has high interest in you, she'd be more willing to ask you and pay, and that's fair. That's fair.
Tip. You know, I'm not like, I need someone to pay for everything.
Okay, let's let some other people get an opportunity to speak. Okay.
I like her response. I like her. I think these are two genuinely decent women. That's healthy. Very healthy responses.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's a date. We're not just hanging out. If we're friends and I'm hanging out with my guy friend, whatever, maybe I'll pay for his taco. Doesn't matter. I'm not expecting him to pay. But this is a date. I think if you're trying to, and I don't want to say, because I'm not a prize, but if you're trying to win me over, you know, I think that you should be doing these things, you know.
And then your take.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I think a lot of women think if it's a proper date, it's a game, and you need to get the woman's interest and above the 90s, you know. And one of the ways you do it, you ask her out with confidence, and you take her out with confidence. You know, she didn't really disagree or agree to the thing. She's just reiterating like, hey, this is a date. There's rules of engagement.
I agree. I think if you're asking me out and you're gonna take time out of my schedule, I mean, this is just.
Yeah. You're asking. You're initiating the challenge, the war, love and war. You know, first step. That's just what it is. But I think what we have to make clear sometime in this little episode is that it's not about chivalry or modern versus classical, like traditional roles in a relationship. It is really to engage the interest of the woman that you're taking out. Because you know, it's like they all said yes, and they all said yes on the assumption that they were interested in the man in a first date. If they were not interested in the first date, they wouldn't even go.
First date, right? So first date, yeah, pay for me. But if there's follow-up dates, then take
Okay,
turns.
so all of you said either whoever asks or the guy should pay.
Yes, correct. Whoever asks or the guy. And when they say whoever asks, most women say that with the tensions like, well, we're still dating. He's not my boyfriend yet, but I'm pretty much sure I would let him be my boyfriend. I'm really enjoying my time. And I will show, like, hey, you're doing a good job. You know, a way to show it without actually just saying those exact words.
Have you ever asked out? Who said whoever asks should pay? You two.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever asked a guy out on a date?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Of all the first dates you've ever been on,
One when I've asked.
how many first dates have you been on?
5, 6.
So 5 they asked you, 1 you asked.
Yes, and I did
Okay.
pay.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I called it. Honest woman. Very honest woman here. Love it. Love it.
When you asked.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
What about you?
I have never asked a man on a date.
How many first dates have you been on?
I want to say maybe like 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Mhm.
Okay, so you've been asked out on all those dates.
But he has not paid every single time.
Most of the time, did they pay?
Every time except one. The one.
Except one. Okay, let's hear why. Bets. It was a terrible date, and she wanted to get out.
That he
Okay.
didn't, I never talked to him again.
Oh.
Never talked to him again. Yeah, okay. This is why you have to pay on the first date as a man. Wait, let's just go back there a second. Let's just hear that whole statement.
Okay, so you've been asked out on all those dates.
But he has not paid every single time.
Most of the time, did they pay?
Every time except one. The one that
Okay.
he didn't, I never talked to him again.
Oh, so
Wait a minute here. Did the guy just decide not to pay? Or does she not want him to pay? Or maybe I missed something there.
okay, when he didn't pay, you'd never. So that's another question, really quick. If you went on,
Okay, the guy decided not to pay, which I don't know why that's a whole weird oddball situation. And clearly the guy did not get a second date. What I thought she was going to say, I wanted to pay because I didn't like the guy. Because if you're on a first date and you offer to pay and the woman decides that she wants to pay, that's a very strong indicator that she is not interested in you. It's a very strong, and that's why you pay on the first date, because you need to determine the woman's interest level if you're going to get a second date or not, and that's one of the factors of many that you look for.
a date with a guy, and he said, "Hey, I'd like to, the check comes or whatever. Maybe you get food, maybe you get tea, maybe whatever. You get coffee, you get a drink." And the guy says, "Hey, let's split the bill."
So embarrassing. I'll just put my card down.
Yeah, you don't split the bill. Any guy says let's split the bill on the first date doesn't even know what he's doing. Does not know what he's doing. Completely needs to read a book. Needs to read something. Do something. I don't know. That is a red flag.
But you'll never see him again.
If I really like the guy, I mean, in the instance,
Yeah, she's immediately like, if for whatever fucking reason I had like a 90% interest level in the guy, he said split the date. Yeah, I will go back and maybe see him again. You know, like if I had a date with Justin Bieber, you know, told me to split the bill, I'll probably split and see him again if it means I can see him again. You know, but reality, most men, you're not in that like high 90 when you're on the first date. You're like in a 70% range, maybe a high 60. So if you try to pull that stunt, man, you're below a 15, game over.
How am I really gonna like a guy after a 1st date?
Let's just say it's like of
No.
average
No.
interest.
Yeah, exactly, average.
Okay,
No, average. No, you're not getting away with that with like a mid-70 score on an interest level of a woman.
How about you?
I don't think so. It's like
You wouldn't?
first impressions are everything.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
Sure.
Seriously depends on how the date went, and we already said, you know, if we fall in love with a guy and he's broke, I would be willing to work with that.
Once again, the only way they make exception to this first date if they have high interest level, very, very high. And if it's high for a lot of other reasons besides just that.
And
But you can't go in assuming on your first date with a stranger, a woman who, you know, she is a stranger basically, barely know her, that she's gonna have a high interest rate like she would have in like a celebrity or like, you know, the one, her true love or whatever she might think in her little head, or whatever she you can't go in there. You have to go in assuming she's at maybe like a 65 to 75, and even in that, just drop it 10 points down. Just assume it's worse than what you're thinking it is, and play the game from there. Like, you don't assume that the blackjack, the card that's face down, is not a 10. You always assume it's a 10, because that's what you're trying to beat. So you always assume her interest level is lower what you think, and that's what you're trying to beat.
I don't want to say financially support him, but if we're going out and doing something together...
Okay, he's just asking.
No,
if
I
you
wouldn't
want
see
to
him again. I
split.
think you're going to get...
Brian's not getting the point. He doesn't understand how critical this is right now with the asking, paying for the first date. He doesn't realize, like, it's a tool, it's a tactic. You don't pay the first date because it's chivalry. You don't pay for the first date because it's modern. You don't pay for the first date because of gender traditional rules. As a man, you're paying for the first date because you need to know her interest level. And, like, they're already saying, like, hey, you know, if I don't pay, you know, and I still go through, you know I'm really high, you'd probably get away with murder with me, you know. We could go rob a bank or something stupid. But you need to figure out your interest level the woman is, and that's why you pay. Because if she doesn't like you, and if she never wants to see you again, she will do everything in her possibility to split the bill with you. So she doesn't feel ever obligated to see you again.
Get that answer from all of us. We all just said no.
Okay, allow them to answer. Go ahead. You'd not see him again.
Not because of that, but I mean,
That's what
this
I'm
is
asking.
actually an
That's what
instance.
I'm
This has happened to me, actually.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
tell us quickly what.
This was just this was a Tinder date. It was stupid. I went on a date with this guy, and he had me drive him around, which is also fine. Okay, he asked me to drive. We went.
Am I crazy?
We
He had
were-
a DUI or something.
he was just his truck something. It was stupid. And we're hanging out. He's like an SDSU frat guy. I'm not into it. Whatever. The whole vibe is off. It's just terrible. And then he turns to me and
Yeah, she just wasn't interested. Met him, wasn't interested.
he tells me that he's hungry, like I'm some sort of Uber driver or something. And I was like, okay, let's go get food. So we go to McDonald's, and he turns to me after paying. It's at the kiosk. He gets like a 20-piece nugget, and he goes, "So who's paying, you or me?" But it wasn't even for me. He was asking, and then
So cringe.
it's a joke, and I'm like, I thought he was joking, so I was like, okay, let's rock paper scissors, like to see who pays.
That's so cringe. I totally understand. If someone, oh man, I would think that was a fucking joke too. It's so awful that you want to believe it's a joke. You want to believe it's a joke. It's one of those things like, and that, if you know, you can almost do. If you're gonna do that to a girl as a guy, you better make sure it's still like a fucking joke. Like, I'm just kidding, you know, or whatever, or however you want to sell it. Yeah, that's just so cringe. I would think it was a joke too.
And I lose, and he looks at my pocket. He's like, "So you're gonna pay for that?" And I pull out my card, and I pay for his stupid nuggets.
You didn't.
Yeah,
You
stupid
didn't get
nuggets.
anything.
I didn't get anything.
What
I'm not hungry.
legend!
I was
Yo,
like, I'm
W's in
not
the chat for the SDSU
Whoa, what a loser! That guy's such a loser.
frat boy,
Like,
finessed.
No, like, do you remember at the very beginning of this where I was like this is
Tinder,
dysfunctional?
yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
No, like,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
here's the thing.
Let's have her go. Go ahead.
Let's see what she says.
What was the question?
Bro,
You've been cooking the
just
whole
not listening.
time.
No, I am
Are you not
It's
listening?
like,
Okay,
it's like
you're on the date with the
Yeah.
guy.
What were you doing? What were you doing when all these people were talking? Holy shit! I'm a male and I was paying attention. Where the hell did your little head went? A little smoke. Try and start a fire. Try and think of something. Rains. Nothing.
Right. Let's say he asked you, but he says at the end of the date, do you want to split the bill?
the thing is with me, like, maybe like last year, I would have been like, oh yeah, like I'll see him again. But like now people are trying to tell me to be more like, you know, like have him take care of me more. So like I don't know, like I feel like I would make excuses and be like, yeah, I'll see you again.
That made no sense.
Okay, so it wouldn't bother you
It wouldn't bother her.
No,
so.
not really.
if the guy, wanted to split the bill.
Yeah. Like it depends though.
Okay.
It depends.
It should
Once
should
again,
bother you.
they're not finished.
Like,
She's not finished the sentence. It depends on her interest level. It always depends on the interest level. When you ever hear a woman says it depends, you can finish that with my interest level in him. Always.
and I realize like I'm married, but I still have like functioning ovaries, and I also study like literature and art. Like it should bother you if a man likes you, if he thinks that you're valuable, he's going to pay. Even if you invite him, okay? Like if you invite him, you say like I want to take you on a date or something like that. Like if he enjoys the time that he spent with you, he's gonna make sure that he pays. So like,
You know, guys will do this. Like even if a woman invites him out, they'll pay for it or attempt to pay. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't. I mean, the fact that she's taking you out tells you enough, and maybe you could try to like, oh, here, let me get this or do that for you or something like that, you know, so you don't feel like you're the chick at the date during the date.
my question is, number one, like why are we choosing these men that want to split McNuggets, ma'am? I don't know what was going through your mind, but you know.
I mean,
Did
you
you
can't
did he
see
hit?
Well, the reason they chose them because they were just attracted, like physically attracted enough to them. We're like, okay, I'll invest some time into you on the first date.
Did he hit?
No.
Yeah, of course, he didn't get laid.
Stop the count.
Yeah. He didn't get laid. He did not get laid.
Come on, bruv.
Yeah.
You were like, who's this Chad who just made me pay for his nugs?
Like I think we have.
What about like maybe not hit, but did you like, you know?
Did
little
he get a
back
smooch?
seat?
Did you
Was there a
kiss
little
him?
back-
Did you kiss him?
Oh, you made out.
That's just as, I mean, not just as bad,
After
but
or
like that's
before
still
the
bad.
nuggets? After or before the nuggets?
Before, like, we kissed and then we went to McDonald's.
Was there a kiss after?
Of course not.
Whatever. Go ahead, Alan.
The thing about it is like if you guys are wanting men to be masculine, like you are gonna have to find and figure out some type of way to be feminine, okay? And I think like in the West we have.
I don't think this is a masculine feminine problem necessarily. The whole pay date, don't pay date. Well, I guess it kind of is now. I mean, I don't look at it as that. I just look at it as more of a way to determine the woman's interested. Like you could tell from these 5 women who they have not been interested enough to go on the first date. You know, that's the way I see it. The way you look at the first date and paying for the first date as a guy is to determine how interested the woman is, and several things that happen. She lets you pay. She's interested. She tries to split the bill. That's a sign that she's not interested in you, or genuinely grew up in this world where she is a modern feminist or something like that, and she's trying to play by those rules, which are terrible rules, because it just throws off bad signals. Because the other case for a woman paying for a day or partially paying for half is that she's just strictly not interested in you. But also, on the same note, if a woman like these two said, you know, if they ask a guy out, they'll pay for the first date, or they'll pay for the date, or they'll show some way that they recuperate, like, hey, you're doing a good job. And that's the whole point, paying for the first date. You know, it's a lot of dating shows, they try to bring it back to being modern or being traditional, and realistically, it's just a tactic to determine the interest level of the woman. That is the main reasoning behind it. I think we'll give this little case study a pause. You know, I just want to review this. You know, should men pay on the first date? It's a hot topic on this show. I hear a lot, and I just want to clarify some of the issues here about paying for the first date and what are you really trying to resolve and do on the first date by paying for it. And yeah, you know, it's also I think it's also good manners on a side quest, on a side note. You know, it's good manners to hold the door open. It's good manners to pay for the first date too, and you should be properly mannered and well behaved and respectful and all that too on the date. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I just want to distinctly clear the goal of paying for the first date. It's more than just being mannerful. There's actually a lot of insight you could gain from the woman you're sitting across of on the first date after that first night. Yeah, and you know, hope you like this little short clip here of men don't listen and women don't lie. I think after this little clip, you kind of see why I'm going to name this series this, and hopefully we'll go through more dating advice from women like this, and men just kind of hear their opinions and kind of correct what people are missing, or praise what they actually catch on. Have a good day. Cheers.